Well, Kim Potter is on trial for killing Daunte Wright, and what makes this case so appealing to the media is the fact that this shooting actually occurred on the same day that Derek Chauvin was being sentenced by a jury, being convicted by the jury. Either the verdict was reached or he was being sentenced at the same time the shooting happened. So of course, the media is going to sink their teeth into this situation, and they're going to use this as a tool to further divide America. You know, they're going to use this as another salacious piece of steak for Americans to fight over. You know, it's another chapter in the culture war. First of all, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that Kim Potter betrayed her badge as a police officer by doing that, because she's a human being, and just like you, me, or anybody else, she's capable of making mistakes. And as we all know, military veterans and police officers are victims of their own adrenaline a lot of times. There have been countless situations ever since police officers were first created, ever since the military was first created, of people joining these institutions and organizations can't handle their adrenaline. They put, when their adrenaline kicks in, some people, when their adrenaline kicks in, they become more focused, they become more in control. Some people actually have this feeling that they're fighting for their life and they're basically on autopilot, and I understand that. So I sit here and say that this woman is a monster, or she wronged Daunte Wright. It's unfortunate that he died, but I don't think that she did it intentionally. She honestly probably thought she pulled her taser out, and she was a victim of her adrenaline, just like I stated. And, military people and police officers are oftentimes victims of their adrenaline. That's why there's such a high level of violence amongst them. They frequently get themselves in trouble for killing their spouses, and they take these small arguments to the extreme, and once their adrenaline kicks in, their fight or flight reaction kicks in, and they make major mistakes. What I don't like is the fact that the media is just making this a cultural war. The left is using Daunte Wright as this victim, this innocent person who was killed. And at the end of the day, what we need to start doing is teaching these young kids to stop running away from the police. Yeah, the police shouldn't kill you for running away. That's why some states don't have chase policies. In some states, if you run away from the police, they don't chase you because they know that there can be some sort of threat to the people that's around. So what they do is they take your information and catch up with you on a later day. The technology in America is so great that you can virtually catch anybody. Once you have their tag information, once you have that person on body cam, you can catch them at a later day, especially if they're not wanted for anything that serious. So there's blame to go around in this situation. Everybody has a part to play. Daunte Wright shouldn't have ran away. He wasn't a perfect person. He was a robber. He was in the streets. He was a young dude at 20. I'm not going to judge him because he didn't even have the opportunity to mature and become a better person because his life was cut short. The cop, she was at fault. She was a victim of her adrenaline. She should get in trouble for this. I don't think she should serve the rest of her life in prison for it because she didn't intend to kill him. It was an honest mistake. And if we're going to start throwing people in prison for life for making honest mistakes, then we shouldn't even fight for criminal justice reform, because there are people in prison right now for selling drugs at 18 who got life sentences. They made a mistake. So for us to sit here and act like this woman deserves life in prison for a mistake she made, it's a smack in the face to criminal justice reform. We're out here fighting so that guys who are in their 60s and 70s can come back home from convictions that they received as teenagers, life sentences that they got at 18, 19. So for us to sit here and say, oh, this woman deserves life, she's terrible, she can never change, she can never atone for her mistakes, I think that's hypocritical. You know, I think that she just doesn't need to be a police officer anymore. And I think that police officers need to start doing more inventory into their personnel. If you know that you got people that can't handle their adrenaline, if you know that you got people in your units that are victims of their adrenaline, instead of using their adrenaline as an asset, it becomes a liability, and they get into this, you know, this fight or flight reaction where they feel like they gotta survive, or they feel like they're gonna die even if the situation doesn't warrant that. You gotta tell them, hey, you don't need to be a police officer. This isn't the job for you. You know, you need to find a career that's more calm, because obviously you can't handle yourself in stress. And I hate the media, because Fox News is publishing stories about Daunte Wright's past. They feel like they got to support the police officer because that's a part of their political narrative. That's a part of their marketing strategy. And the same thing goes with the Democrats and the left-leaning media stations. At the end of the day, let's be human beings. Let's look at this situation from a human perspective. People make mistakes. Daunte made a mistake. The cop made a mistake. You know, and nobody deserves to go to prison for life. We need to learn lessons from this. The cops need to learn that they can't have these people on their force who can't handle their adrenaline. And the young kids in the streets need to learn that they need to stop running away when they get pulled over. Get bailed out. Deal with the consequences. Peace.